It takes some women up to 2 years to get their cycle re-regulated. But like I said, some women can get it re-regulated within a matter of 30 days. So it just depends on you. It depends on your body's nutritional status. It depends on your pre-existing hormonal conditions. And if you've worked on those while you've been on the pill, or if you've used the pill as a band-aid, there's so many things and variables that go into how long it's going to take you to regain your cycle after being on the pill. It also depends on how many years or months or whatever you've been on the pill for. Because again, being on it for an extended period of time is going to shift your hormones. It can impact your thyroid. It'll impact your sex hormone binding globulin versus being on it for a couple of months and then deciding, this isn't for me.
Hi, I'm Kelley Namiro. Welcome to the Balancing Chaos podcast, a lifestyle podcast where we'll talk about wellness, motherhood, and some really exciting things in between. My goal is to help you develop a lifestyle that promotes health, wholeness, and success. Through my conversations with our experts and guests, I hope to inspire you to live a beautiful, full, and joyful life as you navigate balancing the chaos.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode, another solo episode. We are talking all about the birth control pill today. Now, I know this is a very controversial topic. I know there are people out there who absolutely love it, but I think that there are also a lot of people out there who are very confused by it, who really don't understand it, who don't understand the side effects, who were not given the full context of the long-term risks of taking a medication like this, as I know I was not, which is something to this day that absolutely pains me. And as somebody who is about to give birth to another female, something I often think about is the fact that back when I was put on the birth control pill when I was 17 years old, I don't think that my own mother had enough research, had enough context, had enough information given to her to make a decision otherwise. Now I think that there's so much research and data out there on, again, the side effects and also the potential long-term risks of being on the birth control pill. And I think that unfortunately, as Americans in the healthcare system, it is up to us to be doing our own research, to be doing our own exploration of what these things are, because we just can't expect the medical community or Western healthcare providers to be giving us all of the information when they only have about 7 minutes in an office visit with us. And so, and they don't even know the information themselves half of the time. No dig on them. But, if you're going to a gynecologist who is a 60-year-old man, why would he have, or a 50-year-old man, like, why would he be interested or have the desire to get to know the long-term effects or risks of being on a, hormonal supplement that's literally not affecting him in any way, shape, or form? And yes, it is their job to some extent and degree, but they've been trained in a way to where they don't have to, and they're told the risks are really minimal and it doesn't really matter. And like, yeah, your risk, everyone knows, oh, you have a risk for stroke if you take the birth control pill, especially if you smoke, but then they don't tell you anything else about vitamins, digestion, thyroid interactions, all of these different things that also come along with taking it. So we're going to get into the questions that we got about the birth control pill and go through them one by one. So some of them were personal, some of them were specific to you guys, conditions that you are struggling with, symptoms you're struggling with, fears around getting off of it. So we'll go through it all. So let's start with the first question. This came from Katie. It says, went off hormonal birth control once and my acne came back so strong, so I went back on. Any recommendations? I will tell you, Katie, I had the same issue. And I made the very dumb decision after being on the birth control pill for a very long time. And over the course of that very long time, I actually switched birth control pills probably like 10 times within the amount of time I was on it. So like, this one's going to work for me. No, this one's going to work for me. When I should have realized in my head, like, no, none of these are working for me. And there's a reason why. But just going back to it, I made the very dumb decision to get off of a hormonal replacement that I had been on for years and years and years that my body was obviously used to. I also am somebody who comes from a background and a history of having intense, horrible, cystic acne, especially in my teen years. And that was actually when I started the birth control pill. So when I got off of it, it was literally 1 month before my wedding. And all of a sudden, literally all over my chin, around my mouth, acne everywhere. And I was beside myself. I was so upset. I didn't know what to do. I was so like upset about the fact that I had gotten off of it and then this flare up happened and there was this fear that the acne wasn't going to go away. But then I was also in a place where I didn't want to be on this pill anymore because I wanted to start a family. And so I had so many issues when I came off of it, not just the acne, but I also had bloating. I had irregular cycles. I get it. I understand. And so when I think about it, I really wish I would have had all of the, again, the information that we're going to talk about throughout this podcast and know what I could have done in that moment to rebuild my body more effectively. I was not into health and hormones the way that I am now when I came off the birth control pill. But being on birth control raises something called sex hormone binding globulin the longer we're on it. And so when we come off, that high sex hormone binding globulin can also lead to higher levels of estrogen. High estrogen can then lead to acne, along with a variety of other things from painful periods to irregular cycles to mood swings, et cetera, et cetera. So really supporting your detox pathways when you're coming off of the birth control pill. So you're supporting the detoxification of that excess estrogen is absolutely critical when you think about avoiding having these intense breakouts when you stop the pill, right? So supporting your detox pathways, making sure that you are detoxifying effectively and efficiently, getting rid of those excess hormones. How can you start to do that? One is you can minimize the chance of acne flare-ups by supplementing with things like evening primrose oil and chaste tree while using skincare products that are slightly acidic, topical products to help balance the skin of the pH of your skin. Now, again, before you go and start a supplement, of course, I want you to, I have to say it, work with your practitioner to do that. The other thing, like really easy ways besides supplements and, skincare, you can avoid alcohol. You can move your body, exercise, sweat. You can eat more fiber. All of these things are going to help you open up those detox pathways so you can get rid of that excess estrogen so that you can avoid the breakouts. You also want to take a look at what's going on with your testosterone levels. If before you got on the pill, you had an issue with androgens, you want to make sure that that issue is not there now. And if it hasn't been resolved, that could be a reason why you are struggling with acne when you're not on the pill, right? Because the pill is suppressing those symptoms. And then the second you get off, you're getting it back. Do you have something like PCOS? Are you struggling with high levels of androgens in your blood? Go get some blood work done and take a look at that. And that should be a helpful tool as well in terms of you knowing, is it estrogen dominance because I've been on the pill for so long and my SHGB is high, or is it testosterone that's causing these? And then that will allow you to do the proper things, address the proper things that are going to help you eliminate or reduce the breakouts in the long term. Okay. Next question. How long were you on the pill and how long did it take you to get your cycle back? This question is from Erica. So, what I will start this by saying is that everybody is so different, but I will share my story with you guys. So, just saying that to ensure that as you're hearing this doesn't mean that this is necessarily going to happen to you. This doesn't mean that this is going to be your experience. Your experience is going to be uniquely yours, just like my experience was uniquely mine. I have friends who were on the pill for, over a decade. They get off and they get pregnant the next month. Like there are those people out there. And so again, just because this happened to me doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen to you. So let's rewind to 2017 or sorry, 2007 when I was 17. That was the year that I started taking the birth control pill when I was in high school as a high school senior because my acne was really bad. And I was told by my doctor that this was going to be the solution. I had tried antibiotics, I had tried Accutane, I had tried all of the things. And so I was told this was going to be the thing to help me fix it. And so I got on the pill. I think I started on Yaz or Yasmin, one of those ones that was super popular at the time in like the turquoise blue packet. And lo and behold, it didn't work for me. I had super irregular periods, lots of, they're technically not even periods when you're on the pill, just to affirm that you're not ovulating when you're on the birth control pill, because the way that it works is that it's actually suppressing all of your female hormones. And the rhythms and the fluctuations that go along with that. And so you're not ovulating. And so you're technically not getting a period. But I was bleeding in between those pill withdrawal bleeds. And so that was really problematic. So then I switched to Yasmin, and then I switched to low estrogen, and then I probably tried like a majority of the birth control pills on the market. I'm kidding, but seriously, I tried so many of them over the course of about a decade. I was on the pill for about 10 years. And then my husband and I got engaged, and I have always been the person who I knew from the time I was a little girl, before I ever even met Chad, that I wanted to be a mom. And I always knew that when we got married, that would be the time in my life that I would be ready to have kids. And so Chad and I dated on and off for about 5 years before we ever got engaged. And so by the time that we got engaged and then were ready to get married, I was ready to get off the birth control pill because I was like, I want a family right away. We've been dating for a long time. We've had our time together. I want kids. And I got off of the pill in like July of 2018, and we got married in September of 2018, and I didn't get a period back. And this was not shocking because when I was about 23, when Chad and I broke up the first time, I got off of the pill at that point because why did I need to be on it? I was very single and not having any sort of intercourse. And so I was like, I'll get off of it and just see what's going on with my body. And I did that. And I didn't get a period. And a month went by, and 3 months went by, and 6 months went by, and almost a year went by, and I didn't get a period. And at that point, I was this anxiety-riddled 23-year-old girl. Again, knowing that I had wanted kids for a very long time in my life, went by myself to go see a fertility specialist to make sure that everything was normal. Because at that point, I also was really struggling with an eating disorder. And I was terrified that I had somehow damaged my body to the point where I wasn't going to be able to have kids because I hadn't been eating for years and I'd been over exercising for years. I went in, the fertility doctor told me everything is normal. You're totally fine. You're not in menopause. Your egg quality is not low. Go back on the birth control pill to regulate your cycle. Okay, not knowing anything, young girl. So I go back on the birth control pill again at like 24, and then I'm on it again until I'm about 28, like I said. So then when I got off, as I mentioned, I had the horrible symptoms. I had the acne, I had the bloating, I had no period. And so I was like, I have to get this figured out. I need to understand what is going on with my body and why this is not happening for me. And what I will say is that I think that having the better part of a decade where I was, struggling a lot with exercise, with food, with not getting the proper energy intakes that are needed for ovulation and menstruation really are the majority of the reason as to why it took so long to re-regulate my cycle after getting off of the pill. I think that people who have a healthier relationship with food, with exercise, who don't have any pre-existing hormonal conditions, I think would likely have an easier time, generally speaking, coming off the birth control pill than I did. Because when I first started taking it, back when I was dealing with the acne, my periods were totally regular. I was getting a period from the time that I was 13 every 28 days. It was super, super normal and regular. And so it took me getting really intentional about food, slowing down a lot with exercise, really focusing on healing my adrenals, focusing on stress management, focusing on all of that stuff to rebuild my body so that I could get pregnant with West, our son. And so it took about 9 months: September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, 8 months to get things to a place where I was regulated enough to get pregnant. So yeah, it's crazy. It takes some women up to 2 years to get their cycle re-regulated. But like I said, some women can get it re-regulated within a matter of 30 days. So it just depends on you. It depends on your body's nutritional status. It depends on your pre-existing hormonal conditions. And if you've worked on those while you've been on the pill, or if you've used the pill as a band-aid, there's so many things and variables that go into how long it's going to take you to regain your cycle after being on the pill. It also depends on how many years or months or whatever you've been on the pill for. Because again, being on it for an extended period of time is going to shift your hormones. It can impact your thyroid. It'll impact your sex hormone binding globulin versus being on it for a couple of months and then deciding, this isn't for me.
I really hope that you are enjoying this episode. I want to take a quick pause and invite you to come deeper with us if you're ready to explore the root cause connection to the symptoms that you're feeling. Whether you're bloated, exhausted, maybe you have brain fog, you can't lose weight. The WBK Health and Hormones course and our WBK membership and app are here to help you feel like you are empowered to take charge of your health and understand the real why behind you feeling how you do. And we give you the methods and protocols to heal with sustainable solutions. Right now, through Labor Day, get 10% off our annual membership on the WBK app with the code Balancing Chaos, all one word, BALANCINGCHAOS, and 20% off the Wellness by Kelley Health and Hormones course, and an emailed lab review with the code Balancing Chaos 20. That's BALANCINGCHAOS 20. These protocols in the course have meal suggestions, journal prompts, and supplement guides to help you heal whatever area of hormonal balance you're struggling with. With our membership, you'll receive a library of content and new workouts, recipes, and meditations every single week to keep you consistent and to allow your body to come back to its most vital state of being. Okay, now back to the episode.
So next question is from Marianne, trying to figure out whether or not I should go on the pill for my heavy periods. So much conflicting information. I agree with you, Marianne. There is a lot of conflicting information out there. And while hormonal birth control can be an option for some women because maybe they aren't educated or maybe they have a lack of resources, I understand there is a time and place for this. Most women go into it, unfortunately, being completely undereducated, where their doctors are telling them that this is a safe, effective option to give you shorter, lighter periods, not knowing or not being fully transparent about the harmful side effects that can absolutely bulldoze any potential benefits of being on the pill in the first place. And so I really love this question because it gives me the opportunity to tell you what those side effects and long-term risks are. So let's start here. When you think about should I or should I not go on the pill for my heavy periods, there are only a couple days a month that a woman can get pregnant, but instead, we're pressured into taking this pill every single day, being told that, like, oh, it's going to make your skin more clear. It's going to regulate your mood. The reality is, you can achieve those results. You can get clearer skin. You can have a better mood. You can even have lighter, less painful periods, if that's what you're using it for, without having to go through these harmful side effects and without having to pay for it later on. Hormonal birth control is going to do a few things in terms of creating symptoms and side effects. One, it's going to deplete you of B vitamins, magnesium, zinc, and folate, just to name a few of the vitamins that it's going to deplete you of. All of these things are absolutely essential for women and for our bodies to function optimally. The depletion of these vitamins and minerals over time is going to negatively impact your thyroid and your metabolic function. Personally, I truly attribute some of the onset of my hypothyroid to being on the pill for over a decade. The depletion of these vitamins and minerals are also going to negatively impact your gut. It's going to negatively impact your immune function. That's why there are so many women out there who complain about constant bloating, constant issues with like potentially getting sick, this like onset of thyroid issues or slowed metabolism or weight gain that happens. And so I think that knowing that is really important. It's also going to really impact your libido. A lot of women who take the pill feel like they have zero sex drive because they don't have the rhythms of that estrogen and progesterone and the way that the pill suppresses your testosterone, which increases your sex drive. Like I said, a lot of women, because of the way that it impacts your gut, will also experience things like yeast infections and UTIs that are chronic from taking this pill for so long. A lot of women will lose their hair. That comes back to the thyroid issues that are often created from being on the pill long term. And so I really do believe that you can regain control over your menstrual cycles and over your fertility. And it feels really empowering. Everybody's body is going to be different and respond to the pill differently. And you're going to respond to coming off of the pill differently if that's what you are trying to do. But there is going to definitely be some sort of a repercussion to taking a pill that's suppressing your body's natural rhythms and something that your body is evolutionarily driven to do every single day. And so what I would really urge you to do is to instead track your cycles, learn about it, track your symptoms, track your basal body temperature, get some lab work done, and understand why you're having these heavy, painful periods. Do you have estrogen dominance? Do you have low progesterone? How can you work to naturally improve those things? Yeah, that's going to take a little effort, but it's really not as complicated as people make it out to be. And it's going to help you take back the power in your health and long term, if you want to, have kids someday, or even if you're done having kids, of your fertility. I think that that's really, really important. So looking at, the reasons for the heavy, painful periods, rather than just slapping a Band-Aid on it. And so again, I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what, what choice to make when it comes to should you take the birth control pill or should you not. But what I can tell you is that it's not a choice at this point in my life, knowing everything that I know that I would make. I would instead try to remove all the xenoestrogens from my lifestyle. So get rid of the exposure that I have to products that have these chemicals that mimic estrogen that could be contributing to my heavy, painful periods. I would replace conventional meat and dairy in my diet and really start to, if I'm going to eat meat or if I'm going to eat dairy, I'm going to start to do it with organic grass-fed, grass-finished beef so that I'm not eating additional hormones that can, again, contribute to my heavy, painful periods. I would look at if I'm missing any vitamins or minerals like iron because I have these heavy periods. Do I have low iron that's also contributing to symptoms in my body? I would think about what supplements I should be taking. Maybe if I have estrogen dominance and that's what's causing these periods to be so heavy and painful, should I get on some DIM? Should I get on some Vitex? I would look at it from that holistic perspective. I would try to manage my stress more effectively because the number one cause of estrogen dominance is stress. And when we can start to work to lower that or manage that in a more effective way, we can actually get much better results with progesterone production and balancing those two hormones because they really do need to be in balance. And I would make sure that the heavy, painful periods aren't associated with anything going on with my thyroid because the reality is, I think I mentioned some of these things, but yes, you're going to be depleted in B vitamins. Yes, the birth control pill can actually lead to more estrogen dominance, right? So progesterone should naturally be higher in the second half of your cycle during your luteal phase, provided that you ovulated. And since birth control prevents ovulation and you're not having ovulatory cycles, your body's inability to produce progesterone happens. And estrogen dominance leads to weight gain and more hormonal complications and blood sugar imbalances and mood swings, depression, cancer, like breast cancer or uterine cancer. And so if you are already dealing with estrogen dominance, why go on a pill that's going to potentially cause more estrogen dominance? It's taxing on your adrenals. It depletes your thyroid. So do all the things to support your body. Maybe you eliminate alcohol for a while because that makes the estrogen dominance and it can make heavy, painful periods worse. There's actually been a lot of research that shows that if you are having a lot of alcohol within that second half of your cycle, that it's going to increase pain and make your periods heavier. So do the things that are going to be a long-term solution that aren't going to come with the side effects. That was a long way of answering that question. All right. How does birth control decrease endometriosis symptoms? Look, just like I've been talking about with everything today, the birth control pill is a Band-Aid. It is not going to, quote unquote, heal your endometriosis. But can it Band-Aid some symptoms? Sure. It does that by primarily stopping hormonal fluctuations that exacerbate your pain, right? And so estrogen is the primary hormone. And when it's out of balance with progesterone, it is going to cause inflammation more so with those endometrial lesions and cause you to feel pain. And what the birth control pill does is stop those hormonal fluctuations and can also work to thin out your endometrial lining. The pill also depletes you of a lot of vitamins and nutrients that you need to support your endometriosis symptoms, things like CoQ10 and vitamin E. And so before you just slap the birth control pill on, weigh the costs and benefits. As I mentioned, just to this other person who's struggling with a heavy, painful periods and considering going on the pill, same goes to you. Could you instead think about, okay, I know this is going to tax my adrenals, thyroid, cause more estrogen dominance, and deplete my body of vitamins and minerals, right? How can I instead do what I need to do in order to heal from a very holistic standpoint by optimizing my diet, having a really fiber rich diet, consuming a diet of roughly 50% fruits and vegetables to help manage my endometriosis. That high fiber content is going to lead to healthy elimination of excess hormones. Lower estrogen levels in the blood, add fiber and bulk to your stool and aid in digestion and excretion of excess hormones. Can you, make sure that you are having regular meals and regular meal times? The importance of blood sugar when you are dealing with any hormonal issue, condition, or imbalance is absolutely critical. Eating at regular meal times, consuming snacks in between to keep your blood sugar and energy levels stable throughout the day, avoiding the spikes and crashes associated with blood sugar fluctuations is really, really important. Getting enough protein, fat, and fiber, and removing any of those super high glycemic foods from your diet. Can you increase your uptake of omega-3 rich foods? Can you increase your intake of iron rich foods? Because again, menstruation is typically heavy in women with endometriosis. Iron deficiency and anemia are really common. So increasing your iron intake and getting enough iron on a daily basis. Focus on drinking more water. Focus on drinking less caffeine. Women who drink more than 225 milligrams of caffeine a day have a 60% increased risk of developing endometriosis. A lot of the women I know and work with are so in burnout that they are drinking so much more caffeine than that a day. Regular caffeine consumption is a huge risk factor and should be avoided as much as possible. Alcohol is burdening your liver, and it is leading to a decreased ability to detoxify toxins, which include excess hormones. And that means that your body is having a harder time getting rid of excess estrogens because you're clogging it up with alcohol. So there are so many supplements you can take: essential fatty acids, vitamin E, zinc. You can drink burdock tea. You can drink red raspberry leaf tea. There's so many things that you can do versus, again, just slapping the birth control pill on it. And I know that for so many symptoms and conditions, PCOS, heavy periods, acne, it sounds like this easy solution. I'll just take this pill every day and then my problems will be gone. But you have to consider all of the risks that come along with it. The last question we got is, how do you feel about the copper IUD? So if you are going to do something, right? I don't like the hormonal IUD because yes, it is still hormones, regardless of what your doctor tells you about it being like a local option. You're still putting hormones into your body that are impacting your own hormones. So I don't like the hormonal IUD. I don't like the hormonal birth control pill. If you're going to do something, this to me is the best option because it's non-hormonal, right? It is preventing the sperm from being able to swim up to meet the egg, meaning you are still having your own regular, normal hormonal fluctuations. You're technically still being able to ovulate. You have the capacity to, again, have all of the hormones that are so beneficial for your long-term health, your brain health, your bone health, your heart health, your metabolic health, all of these things. So it is a great option. With that, it can increase cramping. It can increase heavy periods for a few months, up to a year after getting it implanted and put in. It can also impact your copper and zinc levels in your body, which is something definitely you would want to check on through blood work if you have the copper IUD long-term. Also, if you're somebody who is struggling with an autoimmune condition, having this foreign object in your body may not be the best fit, right? So I think that covers all of the questions that I put together. We got a lot more, but the ones that I thought were the best to answer for this episode. I hope that this was helpful for you guys and that you feel like you got a lot out of it. And I will see you all next week for our interview. Have a wonderful week.
I really hope that you enjoyed that episode. You can follow me on Instagram at Wellness by Kelley or head over to our website, wellnessbykelley.com. Sign up now for the Wellness by Kelley 7-day free trial on our app or head over to our course And now get 20% off the course or 10% off of the membership with the code Balancing Chaos, all one word, BALANCINGCHAOS. In our course, you'll get access to an emailed lab review plus protocols built out to help you heal with whatever hormonal imbalance you're struggling with. With our membership, you'll receive a library of content with our app with low impact workouts, blood sugar balancing recipes, and mindfulness meditations, all designed to help you balance your hormones and help you feel like you are living your most beautiful, joyful, and vital life. If you like the show, please leave a rating and review. That is the best way to help the show grow and get to more listeners. We hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next week.